Hello everyone, welcome back. It's more Gary's Mod devlogging because this is pretty much all I'm doing to fill my time. So I have a main menu made, pretty self-explanatorily. Project 16, because it's my 16th project in line on this stupid game, but also coincidentally, 7 plus 9 is 16, so it makes sense for me. But I have a main menu working. This was something that I did in one of my previous projects, but it didn't quite work out how I wanted it to. This is what the main menu on the last project looked like. If it works, so funny if it didn't. Okay, aside from the big error that is my other account, get out. This is what the main menu on the last one looked like. So this is all Derma. This is done using the same menuing that makes up the spawn menu. So you can see if you hover over them really fast, it's buggy as fuck. But it works, you know, this is before I had proper art for the girls, so if you hit start, fades to black.
Is this seat taken?
And I'm not gonna play this in full, but you get the idea. It was a really funny shit take on Hunipop. It was a good joke. It got everyone I hosted this for off guard, but yeah, it was not a good system. This is not a perfect system. Basically, you're just AFK in the lobby right now, and this is just a bunch of PNGs on your screen. You just use WS and space to control this. It'll loop back around if you go to the edges, and you hit space, opens a window. There's nothing in these windows yet. I just got them working. But if you do hit start, it fades to white and then fades out from white. And you are now in the game. I have network tested it. It works completely fine. I'm happy with how it looks. The other system is something I was going to show off yesterday, but I wasn't happy with it, so like an absolute lunatic, I tore it down and I recoded the entire thing. So now I have a dialogue system in place that is completely dynamic and completely branching. So I have 3 little examples set up here. So for example, if we press E on the phone, it's going to start the conversation, and then it's going to move the camera. And it took a lot of work. So then it's going to populate all of our dialogue options down at the bottom, and these are actual branching paths. It's unique, because before I was coding my dialogue, kind of using like function chains, so you'd have 3 choices, but they would all kind of merge back to the same point, so it was the illusion of choice. But, if I ask here, who are you? Who is this? You can tell me it's an old friend, and this goes to a unique scene where I can choose, I don't know you, your voice isn't familiar, or I can hang up. And then if we go back into it, and I tell them that they have the wrong number, it'll pull up 2 options that are completely unique to this. So, because this is a demo, all of the options just loop back to exiting the conversation. It's not in depth right now, just a proof of concept. Specifically for the use case of this project, any model, specifically the girls, that have a body group for the mouth shapes, it will swap between those when talking, so you get an actual, like, mouth movement on talking. So You get a few different branches here, and it does handle, like you saw earlier, multiple lines per reply. And these both pretty much exit the conversation. But you can just to proof of concept the system. Branch 2, you know, are you talking to me? And you get 3 more options that all exit the conversation. You can see there the timers are a little quick, just because it is still a demo. You know how it is. But even for, you know, just offsetting the text that appears above the object, like this guy, it's off to the side. Doesn't seem much for talking. And then it'll just exit the conversation. So it works. I'm happy with where this is. It's all reading dialogue from a TXT file and using regex patterns to dictate my syntax that I've adapted for the files. So it's easy to write. It's completely modular. I can pretty much do whatever I want. The only thing I need to code in is some kind of keyword for events. So in case anybody here is interested in the hammer view of how this actually works, because I am tying MapLogic and Lua together, which is something I might make an actual tutorial on in the future, because this is one of those things. At least for me, I saw a Yogscast video about like them playing a map that had achievements tied to the map, and I was like, how the hell did they do that? And I dived down a total wiki rabbit hole, but I have this stuff pretty much solved at this point. But basically, I just have the interaction point here. That is so funny that this does it doesn't capture like that. There you go. I have it put in as a prop dynamic, and you can see here it is parented. At the top, it's parented to a button, and the reason we do that is because this is the button. This is non-solid. The wiki graciously let me know that if you parent a prop dynamic to a button, all use inputs on the dynamic prop get forwarded to the button. So basically, I just have Lua checking if the button ever receives a use input, and if so, we start doing all the dialogue stuff. And you see that's the same except for her, because this model is compiled without any collision. So she needs a button that all encompasses her, because if I don't have that, then you can just walk through her and you can't press E on any part of her model that would actually register to start the dialogue. It also helps just making this one actually solid versus the others non-solid, because it's like a fake bounding box, really. As far as the main menu goes, it's a little bit of a mess. If I do this, see, I just have all of these info player starts here in 32 by 32 perfect bounding box prison cells. And it might seem dumb to do that, but there's an interesting dilemma, because I'm checking if the player is pressing W or S for the menu, and I'm overriding the camera, so you can still walk around. If I lock the controls or I remove the movement data, I can't read the inputs for the menu. But this works because you all just spawn back here and you can't move, and you're just, you know, you get the two, both of them doing their idols with their broken hair. and then the menu is just 3D, 2D on the wall. The only other thing this game mode actually does is what you see in the console here I did set up a bare bones kind of minigame instancing, because this goes through and it's admittedly a gorgeous piece of code, but basically just takes all of the Lua files in a folder and instances them as their own, separates the functions from the file so I can basically clone the minigame as an object and do whatever I want with it. So I think I have a command in here. So like you have the 3 on screen, infection, 1 in the chamber, and then the example minigame. If I do pick minigame, 1 in the chamber, it's going to say in the chat, the next minigame is X, it starts in Y, just as a placeholder, because I don't want to bother making a HUD right now, this early. And after that amount of time, it's going to give you your crowbar and your pistol with 1 bullet that is an instant kill. And it's fully set up, so there is a timer. See here, there's a 1-minute timer going on in the background, and it tracks, it tracks kills, deaths. If you die during this minigame, it will respawn you with the crowbar and the pistol and everything, and whenever it ends, it will force respawn you. It'll put everyone, it's going to error out because it's just me with no kills, but it might not. Player 7 placed first with 0 kills because there's no one else, and then it would assign me points based on my placement. And for example as well, infection will actually break because it's I can do a lot more than the previous ideas of this project. Every iteration of this has kind of been ran like a game show, so you would play mini games and get points and win, but they were all simple, so you do like Simon Says or Four Corners or first reaction, last reaction. I never really had Lua, and now that I do have Lua and I know what I'm doing, that's the big asterisk. Each quote mini game can kind of be its own Gmod Tower like game mode, because it's completely instanced. Like whenever I start the mini game, the game is the mini game for the duration of it. And as long as I can undo the changes I make at the start of the mini game, nothing matters, really. So I will keep making updates on this as updates on this are being made, and hopefully this will get to a point we start seeing some progress, because if I'm not careful, this could turn into a life project, just with how much work I can put into this and how much I can curate to the narrative experience, or whatever you want to label it as. In the terms of other projects, Cloak and Fragger has actually caused me a bit of a headache. I've gotten a few bug reports that the saving and loading of models and weapons is not working. The issue is that I cannot replicate this bug. I've had 3 people tell me it's real. I hate to do the age-old Stack Overflow shitpost, but it works on my machine. Tonight, I'm going to try and get somebody else that's not me to host a server and try and do some group debugging, because I genuinely cannot find out what's wrong. If you like the Hammer stuff, if you like the Gary's Mod stuff, just feel free to sub, feel free to stay tuned, and eventually I will have projects available. So thank you for watching. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and I will see you next time.